it's about like a 20,
Excellent.
it's about like a 25-minute presentation, but I can
Mhm.
make it shorter or longer. And then
Well, you
I
know,
feel like
there
people
could be some Q&A and
yeah, a lot of people have a lot of questions at the end.
Yeah.
So that's, I
Yes.
feel like where the real substance comes out, or the questions.
yes. All right. What do you think? Another minute or so? We could.
Yeah, it's just 6:30 now.
Okay. All right. So you know what? We can always tell whomever comes in later then that we will have availability of this video on the library's YouTube page and give them just like information about who they can contact if they want more information or if they want to watch the video again. So I'm going to, all right, I'm going to start. Welcome to an evening presentation partnership between Syosset Library. My name is Jessica. I'm Community Engagement Specialist at Syosset Library. And we are one of your co-hosts today. And we are here with Amy. Would you like to introduce who you're here on behalf
Sure.
of?
So I am Amy Angelone. I am the Associate North Director of the Seniors of Syosset program here at the Mid-Island YJCC. And we're also happy to be hosting this event alongside Jessica and Kat.
So thank you very much. So just to let you all know, this event is going to be recorded. The information will be available and the recording will be available on the Syosset Library's YouTube page, I would say early next week, Monday. So if you missed anything or you want to tell somebody that they missed some valuable information, they'll be able to access it. So I'm going to, or I should say, we are going to turn the mic over to Kat Coughlin to tell us what this is all about.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen really quickly.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, hold on. Okay. Yeah, thank you again so much for having me. My name is Katherine Coughlin, but I go by Kat. I was brought on through a grant by the Long Island Sound Futures Fund, written by the Nature Conservancy and the North Shoreland Alliance to specifically help homeowners and small business owners through the septic replacement process from start to finish at absolutely no cost to the homeowner. I formerly worked as an environmental engineer and I have a couple degrees in hydrology, so I'm really familiar with these issues and really how to navigate the permitting and construction world. And I would love to say that this presentation was made possible through our partnership with the Friends of the Bay, the Nassau County Septic Program, the Nature Conservancy, the Soil and Water Conservation District, Nassau County, the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and Scouts for Miracle-Gro. So I think one of the big questions to answer is, what is nitrogen pollution? Nitrogen is everywhere and it is one of the most abundant elements on Earth. It makes up more than 78% of the atmosphere. It's locked in this N2 unreactive gas. But in the nitrogen cycle and in nitrogen pollution in particular, we like to focus in on these reactive elements called ammonia, nitrate, and nitrate and nitrate. These are commonly found in the Earth's crust and are really essential for plants to grow. However, there's too much of a good thing, and additional nitrogen input from human sources such as fertilizer, livestock, and unfiltered wastewater has thrown our ecosystem out of balance. Excess nitrogen filters from groundwater and travels to our bays and harbors and damages aquatic ecosystems. Excess nitrogen on Long Island has been responsible for fish kills, seaweed overgrowth, and the triggering of harmful algal blooms. And these toxic, harmful algal blooms have caused so many beach closures that we experience every year. And in Nassau County in particular, we need to be really sensitive about our drinking water. We sit directly on top of a sole source deep aquifer that is really our only source of drinking water. This drinking water is continuously contaminated by excess nitrogen, pharmaceuticals, and other contaminants of concern. I like to show this map. It is a map that was produced by Save the Sound, and it outlines the current health of our bays and harbors, and it estimates or gives a grade of water quality health based off of indicators of dissolved organic carbon, dissolved oxygen, water clarity, chlorophyll A, seaweed, and oxygen saturation. And as you can see, many of the bays and harbors in Nassau County have really low grades between F and C's. And we can expect worsening water quality conditions and more frequent harmful algal blooms as time goes on because of climate change and warming waters. So this is really just a very serious issue, and it's why we need to tackle nitrogen pollution now, because the longer we wait to fix this problem, the worse it's going to get and the more expensive it will become to fix. And that really leads us to the question of, where does nitrogen come from? This data here is based off of a study that was done by SUNY Stony Brook. It was formerly thought that surface runoff from fertilizer was the primary problem, and groups like the Nature Conservancy and Nassau and Suffolk County spent a lot of time and energy trying to mitigate this problem. And a lot of good work was done, and they definitely reduced a lot of fertilizer, but the harmful algal blooms and the fish kills, they kept coming back. So scientists had to go back, do more research, and they ultimately found that septic systems were the silent killer. And in Nassau County make up more than 50% of nitrogen to our bays and harbors. And this number is even higher in Suffolk County because even more of Suffolk County is unsewered. And I think the number is about 75% of nitrogen comes from septic systems. The south shore of Nassau County is primarily sewered. So sewage treatment plants then ultimately make up the primary source of nitrogen. But groups like the Nature Conservancy a while ago worked really extensively with Nassau County. And if you've heard, like maybe 2 years ago, the Bay Park Reclamation Facility got a huge tertiary treatment facility that is now effectively treating nitrogen on the South Shore. And this map is based off of data from that same SUNY Stony Brook modeling study. And they were able to predict just how much nitrogen needed to be reduced in order to hit our water quality goals. Each of these bays and harbors are shown in a different color, the watershed. And then each color represents how much nitrogen we need to reduce in order to hit our water quality goals. And as you can see, the Cold Spring Harbor and Oyster Bay need nitrogen pollution reduced the most. And these tiny black dots are approximate locations of septic systems. And then these blue striped areas are where sewage systems are. And not shown are additional sewage systems on the South Shore. So based on this estimate that we need to basically upgrade up to 17,000 homes will basically need a septic upgrade to reach our water quality goals. So this is a huge issue, but we do have a good solution. And we can reduce nitrogen by swapping our conventional septic tanks and cesspools with clean water or innovative advanced IA technology. IA or clean water is not really advanced anymore. It's kind of like a misnomer. These systems have been around for decades and are incredibly effective at reducing nitrogen. Conventional septic tanks, it's something that you probably have in your yard right now. Most people don't have the advanced wastewater technology. They work by the wastewater will travel from your house to a septic tank. And then those solids are settled and stabilized at the base of your septic tank. And then the remaining liquid wastewater travels to a leaching structure like a cesspool or leach field. So then these septic systems work by having these biological processing systems which use denitrification to remove nitrogen from the wastewater. And these tanks are really effective. They can remove up to 90% of nitrogen from wastewater. Now, these septic systems are not only valuable just for the environment, they're also really good for the homeowner. These septic systems are last long, they're made out of durable materials, and they can help improve your property value, and they have a lot less maintenance, especially if you're a person that has a failing septic system and you need to pump your septic tank several times a year. These septic systems can really give you peace of mind. And this is a septic system that went in really recently in Nassau County. And this is a Fuji clean septic system. And on average, these tanks cost about $19,000, but the cost site conditions. And fortunately, there is funding available for both Nassau and Suffolk County. Last spring, Nassau County launched its septic replacement grant program, and it has since flourished into a very popular program. Homeowners want to do the right thing, and now we are giving them the grants to do so. And if you are in Suffolk County, there is also a program where you can get up to $35,000. Okay, so the Nassau County program basically covers all the design costs and the cost to purchase the IA septic system. So that grant really pretty much covers everything. The other costs that aren't really going to be covered are permit fees, the operation and maintenance fees, and like sales tax and irrigation repairs. And the grant is also, they just decided, Nassau County just decided, unfortunately, that they'll be issuing a 1099. So these grants are considered taxable, unfortunately, but the Nature Conservancy and the North Shore Land Alliance and a lot of other groups on Long Island are working on congressional legislation to repeal this tax. And now I'll just walk you guys really quickly through the process of how to apply for one of the grants and what the process can look like. But I would just like to say too that the Soil and Water Conservation District, this is the group that is administering the program, has done a really, really fantastic job of setting this program up. And if you call them or email them, they answer really quickly, and they have done a really good job of being responsive and being a really efficient government program, which doesn't usually happen that often. So the first thing that you need to do is navigate to the website. You can go to www.nassaucountiny.gov/septic replace. And on this website, you can find a bunch of good information about the program, how it works, eligibility requirements. Any question you can think of is under the frequently asked questions. What technologies you can use, what the application process and timeline looks like. And also, if you are in a sewered area, it's important that you check to make sure that you are not in a sewer system or a sewered area, because if you are in a sewered area and you still have a septic tank, then you actually need to connect your home to the sewer system. But you can do that here, and there is grant funding available if you do need to connect to a sewer system. And then you click apply here. And again, this is just another map that shows all the sewered areas are shown in pink. So basically all the South Shore, Glen Cove, Oyster Bay, and then parts of Port Washington. And yeah, but just again, you want to make sure you are not in a sewered area to apply for this grant. The online application is very straightforward. You basically just need to submit your last name, your first name, address, and just any kind of information that you have about your septic system. You can fill in here. It's optional, but once you submit that, then Nassau County will review your application and make sure that you are eligible based off of these following eligibility requirements. you can't be eligible for the program if you have a septic system or current existing septic system greater than 1,000 gallons per day. That's pretty large. It usually ends up being a home with about 9 rooms or more, 9 bedrooms or more are equivalent to 1,000 gallon per day septic systems. You must have a valid certificate of occupancy from your city, town, or village. You must, this is again, you have to be in a Stewart, you can't be in a Stewart area, and then you also can't have any outstanding or open tax liens. And then once you are approved to the program, Nassau County, the Soil and Water Conservation District will send you a provisional grant award letter and grant agreement. And you basically have 30 days to execute this grant agreement once you get it from the county. And then once you sign that, you have a year to move forward with the program. But the provisional grant agreement basically just locks you into the grant and says that as long as you follow all of the guidelines outlined by the county at the end of the process, then you will be given the $20,000 grant. And I think that the grant program is also really great too, because homeowners aren't having to put $20,000 up out of pocket. The $20,000 is actually given directly to whoever you choose to install the septic system. So whoever your contractor is, they will put the $20,000 up front, and then the county just directly reimburses that installer. And once you sign into that grant agreement, then you can kind of start all the fun stuff, or at least this is what I think is fun stuff. So this is when you begin creating your design plans with a design professional, either an engineer or an architect, and they will assess your home and site conditions and determine what type of septic system and leaching system is best suited for you. Then once you hire your design professional, you have 60 days to submit a signed design contract back to Nassau County to ensure that you are on track to install. Nassau County only permits 6 different types of IA septic systems. These have all been really rigorously tested across Long Island and are certified for use. They're all really effective. In so far of the installations that we've seen, a lot of them have been Fuji-clean septic systems. These ones are really popular just because of their watertight design, and they don't have a lot of different components. They're a little bit simpler than other ones, but it doesn't mean that this one is better than the other ones. It's just right now has been a more popular model. And then when you select, once you have your design contract signed and your design plans created, you will submit those to your corresponding village, town, or city, and you will submit for a building permit. And then once your building permit is approved, you will be able to hire an installer. And then once you have your installer, you can move forward with the process of installing your septic system. And once your septic system is installed, your installer just needs to submit a few post-installation paperwork. Then the Nassau County will review that documentation and process the payment, and then the payment is issued and you have a functional septic system. And these are some septic systems that have gone in recently in Bayville. I like to highlight the cost because I think it's really amazing how much the grant is subsidizing the cost of getting your new septic system. The conventional septic system would have cost this homeowner in particular $16,000. However, she decided to go forward with the process of getting one of the IA septic systems through the grant program. Her final total was $21,000. However, again, she received that $20,000 grant, so her final out-of-pocket cost was $1,867. And she was really, really happy with her septic system. And then this is another Fuji-clean septic system that went in Bayville. And I like to show this one because it really highlights how versatile these systems are and that you can put them on really small lots. This bush right here, this is where he had his septic system put in, and it was really, really tight squeeze, but they were able to create plans to fit it in. And this is what the final product looked like. These three green risers are what the septic system ultimately looks like. And some people don't really like the look of these green risers, but I've seen a lot of people do really creative things like put flower pots or benches on them. And you can even go and buy fake AstroTurf. You can get green ones for the summer and then brown ones for the winter. But again, a lot of systems have gone in so far. If you are interested in this program, I highly recommend applying for it. They currently have room for 200 homes to get upgraded at the moment. We are working with the county on securing additional funding to keep the program going. But right now, there are 155 active applications, so 45 spots are remaining. And again, if you need help, please feel free to contact me at Katherine at NorthShoreLandAlliance.org, or you can go straight to www.upgradeyourseptic.org for more information. That's the North Shore Land Alliance and the Nature Conservancy's site. But if you are ready to replace, feel free just to go straight to NassauCountyNY.gov/septic replace.